Hello and welcome back to Kind Atmosphere. I thought I would give you 2 episodes today because why not? I've got lots of free time, so I thought I'd do another one. In this one, I am going to be talking about kindness, and I've decided that I will do like a topic and then like an emotion and then a topic again. So obviously you got the first topic, which was about Instagram, and now I'm going to do the emotion of kindness. So kindness to me means that you are offering and supporting somebody with a positive atmosphere and you care about them is what I think about kind, and that you don't want to say anything that could hurt that person, and you are honest because you care about them, you have feelings for that person, and you don't want to see them, or you don't want to see them get hurt, but then at the same time you don't want to hurt them. And kindness in this day and age kind of gets subsided by everything that we see on the internet. And for example, if something was to happen, that's when people would start acting kind, when really it should just be a day-to-day thing. And I think people just forget about kindness and forget that everybody needs it at some point in their life. They might not need it every day, but it's nice knowing somebody has treated you with kindness instead of just blowing you off and thinking, well, that's nice of them. Another thing kindness means to me is offering support when it's needed, but in a kind way. So yes, they might not be around every day, but being there when somebody needs it most, I feel that is when kindness is spoken out without words, because it just shows that they're being kind and taking time out of their day. And although it might not seem like much in their case, in your case, if you're the one who's feeling down or sad or angry, I feel that is a really kindful way of saying, hey, I'm here. So there's that. Kindness as well is not just saying, oh, I'm kind, so, you're nice to people. Kind is knowing the difference between niceness and caring to being kind. So being kind is more of something you do, whilst being nice, I think, is subconscious. I think subconsciously you're nice to people because, you just are. You don't really think about being nice. Or at least I wouldn't have thought you would think about being nice. You wouldn't be like, oh, I've got to be nice to this person. I think it's more of a subconscious thing where our mind just doesn't really realise that it's got to be nice. It just does it anyway. Whilst kindness, I think, is the opposite. I think we choose to be kind to people because it shows that we care about them, and that if we was put into the situation ourselves, we'd want somebody to be kind to us. I think as well with kindness is people don't realise its worth. I think people take it all for granted. With a lot of things, people take for granted. Kindness can be one of them, because if you're kind to people, I feel like they would expect you to always be kind, when that's not the case. You will get some people who are kind one day and then the next there might not be anything at all, and that's okay. I mean, I think this is what I mean by people taking things for granted, because they'll expect people to be there for them when they can't be there for them all the time. And in some cases it can be a bit like, so it sucks, but at the end of the day, you've got to push through it and know that if you've treated somebody with kindness and you've done it for you, then what more can you do? I think everyone should always be kind, because if not, I think we kind of lose a pattern. And I think a pattern is needed so that you know and can stimulate relationships with people. Because if you're not kind to people, your relationships are just going to plummet. They're just going to face the floor and you're just going to be like, well, what am I doing wrong? But if you treated somebody with a little bit of kindness, I feel like your relationship with them will gradually grow. Now, I'm not saying that what I'm saying is right, but from my personal perspective, I've had many people leave, and I'm okay with that, because it shows me where I'm needed, where I should put my kindness. If people are going to leave me, then I shouldn't be putting in my kindness to people who don't really care about me. So, Kind Atmosphere, this podcast, is kind of a way to gradually learn the difference between putting your worth into something whilst not, basically. It's a kind of a way for me to take a step back and look at things, because I feel like people take things for granted. People tend to leave. I mean, that's their decision, and if they're gonna leave, I think at the end of the day it's nice just to be kind. And if they leave, then at least you can say, well, I was kind to them. At least you've got something positive to look back on. Even though they've left, you can say, well, actually, yeah, they've gone, but I was kind to them. And yeah, I think kindness in social media mainly needs to be spoken of a bit more. It's not always down to what people post. So what people post is what stimulates what people say. I think it's more of, it doesn't matter what the person posts, as long as you say something kind. If you're going to say something at all, then yeah, if you're going to say anything at all, please make it kind, because the person who's reading that, not only if they read something bad, they're going to feel down about themselves, but it affects the way they perceive themselves. So if, for example, you got called, I don't know, because I've never come across negative comments on my part, because I'm not one to post that many pictures of myself. But even when I do, I just get likes. I don't get any comments. And I'm fine with that. As long as nothing's horrible being said, I won't do anything. But I've already had somebody comment about my podcast. So, in a way, it was just whoa, that affected me, because I'm putting something out there for somebody to enjoy. And now that I know that it's kind of a bit well, like that person's gone and remove themselves from the equation, I don't have to go and please that person. I mean, I didn't have to please this person in the first place. I don't get where or why they came to tell me what they did. But, I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I'm not going to, stop anybody from doing that. I'm just going to put my, warning out of, if you've got nothing nice to say, just don't say it, because it's not proving anything. It's not proving that you're big or that you're better than everybody else. It just shows that you are a bit immature, if anything, and that you haven't got like a kind heart. So if there's anything to take from these things that I tell you, is just to remain kind at all times. Yes, you might get angry and somebody might really make you mad or do something that really makes you want to rag your hair out, but you've just got to sit through it, and you've just got to tell somebody that although what they've said is a bit harsh and you don't really like it, it's just to remember to remain kind in those situations, because I feel like people forget to be kind when somebody's annoyed them or said something mean to them. So, say for example, if somebody said to me oh, you need to change your hairstyle, it would bug me, because I'd be like, well, I've only just changed my hairstyle, I've only just cut my hair. And if somebody was like, oh, you need to grow your hair, I'd get a bit angry. I'd be like, right, well, I've just cut it, so I'm not gonna go and buy some hair extensions and shove them in. So I would say, although what you've said has kind of bugged me, I'd be like, I thank you for your opinion, but I'm not going to go and do what you say, because obviously I feel like if people kind of forget that they're entitled to their own opinion as well, not just somebody looking in. So yes, that person could say to you, oh, go and buy this or something. You don't have to, and I feel like people forget that they don't have to. Because somebody said it, I feel like people think they have to go and do what that person said, when really they don't at all. They can just do what they like. Just like anyone can comment on social media posts, I feel like, yeah, I just think embrace yourself, be kind to one another, because I feel like it releases those negative toxins that you're holding on to, and whatever those toxins may be, I feel like if you just treat people with kindness, maybe them toxins will just disappear. Maybe they won't, but it's something to remember, being kind, because you might gain relationships and friendships, and I think if you can gain somebody or maybe lose somebody to being kind, it's still a positive thing, because you have been kind to that person. You've done nothing wrong, and although it might feel like it because that person's disappeared, it's just always nice to reflect on yourself's behaviour, because I know that other people's behaviour kind of makes you think, well, at least I'm not like them. And I know full well that's how I look at things, because I'm like, I always treat people with kindness, because I know if I was treated with no kindness at all, I'd be sad, and I'd be like, well, why are you saying that to me? And actually, I'm happy that I've treated people with kindness, because then I can turn around and just look at other people's lives and know that I'm different to them because I've got some sort of kindness. No, I'm not saying like, oh, that person doesn't have any. I'm not saying that at all. They might just struggle with embracing the kindness that they know they have because of like past relationships or past past relationships, past friendships, anything like that. I feel like they would lose like sight of being kind because they haven't been treated with kindness either. And that's another thing. When people aren't treated with kindness, they kind of pull back on giving it to somebody else. So say for example, somebody was unkind to me and it would have like a domino effect. So the next person I want to go and give kindness to, I won't be giving them as much because I won't know how to, or I won't want to because I haven't been treated with kindness myself, if that makes sense. But I just think in a world where everybody is told to like be different, when they're handed a book that says on the front of it how to fit in, kindness should be the first thing. Whether you're trying to be different or trying to fit in is the first thing that should be listed. And I think that is the one tip that I would give everybody, is treat people with kindness, because you don't know what somebody's going through behind closed doors. And although they may look and sound okay, it doesn't mean they are. Sometimes they can just fake it because that's the only way they know how to, or the only way they want to. And you've got to respect that and treat them with kindness, because that's their opinion and that's their decision. And you can't go around thinking that you can change everybody, thinking that you could go and change people's thoughts, people's feelings, because the only person who can do that is the person itself who's going through it. And I know it frustrates people that they can't go around changing people's thoughts and changing people's feelings, but you can't go and change something that isn't yours. If somebody had the power to change your thoughts, or had the ability to change your thoughts, I think you'd be pretty angry, because you'd be like, no, I want to feel this way, or I want to think like this. Having somebody do that for you, I think, would frustrate you. So I would take a step back if somebody's feeling upset, because sometimes people can't think of what to say, and majority of the time when they don't know what to say, it's going to be unkind. And I just think, before you say something unkind, take a step back from the situation and then proceed to be kind when you know what to say. Because I think that's the best way to go about a situation. If you know you're gonna like get angry at the person or get upset with them, I think just take a step back before saying anything, because there's a possibility you could say something that you don't want to mean. And especially when it's out in the open, once you've said it, you've said it. So yeah, I think just take a step back, let it die down, let your feelings die down, not their feelings, because their feelings might remain for a while. So take a step back and just relax for a minute, and then think, or only go back to them when you are ready to, and say something kind to them. maybe say something like, although I can't help you, I'm going to be there for you. Because it's not always about trying to help people, because sometimes they don't even know how to help themselves, and it's a tricky thing trying to help people when they don't know what it is they want. And although it can be frustrating, it can also be upsetting, because you just want to help them, you want to overcome their problems, and it is upsetting to see other people, especially not yourself, in those situations, because you're just like, well, what is it? And because they don't know themselves, I just think, let them deal with it. If they need help, let them come to you. Don't think that it's annoying how they keep coming to you. The reason they come to you is for, I don't know, it'll be for their reasons. It might be because they feel comfortable. It might be because they trust you with what they're saying. Please just don't retaliate them, because I know if you was to go to them, they would sit and they would listen and they would try and understand. Don't try and help them. Don't try and say, okay, what shall we do? Because it might not work. And I think just do it together, where you can do it in a way where you can both help each other mentally, but not offer each other support in the way of help, that sort of support. So, like, yes, go full on supportive, like say, okay, I'll be here for you when you need me, but don't always go to them asking them if they're okay, if they are, if they want help. Because if they want help, they should come to you, and they should just breathe and know that that person cares and that person is going to treat them with kindness. Now, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying like, oh, don't go to them at all, or anything. I'm just saying that with relationships that I've had, relationships meaning like friendships and etc., is I've found that the only way you can tell someone how you're feeling is to go directly to them, because they might not always know that something is wrong. So instead of them coming to you when they feel like it, when it's convenient for them, I feel like the only way you're going to get them to talk is if you talk to them first. Now, yes, it can be frustrating, because you're like, but I don't want that, because it'll look like I'm annoying. Trust me, there will be somebody out there who wants to listen to everything, who wants to know. And if it's not a person like a friend, go to a parent, because half the time people don't realise that the parents exist, in the sense of they won't understand, when really the reason why they don't understand is because they haven't been in situations where they've felt that way. But if you told them how you felt and you kept telling them, they would learn how your way of thinking is. They would realise that you're both not alike, and how your mind is different to their mind. And it'd be a really good bonding mechanism if you've lost that contact with your parents. I feel like it'd be a good way to connect. But I would say, don't get mad if they don't understand. I know that people can get mad because parents aren't understanding what they mean. It is a long journey, and in some cases they might understand and in others they don't. And although you might get confused why they don't understand that certain bit but they understand another part, is you've just got to hold on to what you're doing and don't do everything in one day. Don't think, right, I'm going to sit down with my parents, I'm going to, bombard them with stuff that they need to know. Do it in bits, and if it's easier to write these stuff down and give it to them, let them read it, do that. But I don't think that you should go through things alone, because it's daunting, it's overwhelming, and then your mental health will decrease. So if anything, I think take your time with people, and these other people should take their time with you, and be kind to one another, because one day you might need these people in your lives and they might be the only thing that you'll have left. And yeah, it's mainly the thought of and the learning curve of today and this episode of the podcast is to always have positive thoughts, remain calm, and be kind to others. I have been your host this week, and I'm Evie. I'll be your host probably all the weeks, but there could be chances that I get other people talking on these episodes, and if that ever happens, I will let you know. Please follow my social media accounts, which is for Instagram, kind.atmosphere. I will be posting posts. It won't be like other posts though, so they'll just be like, put a new episode of the podcast up. There'll be them sort of posts, and I just want people to know that this will be available on Spotify and also here, which is Anchor, which is, I think it's only available for iPhone. So I am sorry for all the Android users. And I'm not saying that Android is worse or better than iPhone. I'm not one of them people. I'm just saying that you might want to listen to this podcast and the episodes on different devices, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. If you could please share the message and you are finding these episodes beneficial to you and you think that somebody else can benefit from them, please share these episodes around, as I would like more of an audience to connect with and get to know. I would also like to say that I will be hopefully doing another episode of these podcasts, hopefully next week. I can't say which day because my days are a bit muddled up at the moment, but I will try and get one out. If I don't, this has been such a pleasure for this week, and I hope to see you when I see you next. Thank you. Bye.